Ipswich versus Aston Villa. Let's break everything down. Let's go through the lineups, the injuries, the danger players, and how I think Villa should line up to manage our minutes going in to Bayern Munich. If you are enjoying the content, leave a like, subscribe down below for more. Let's talk Villa. So in terms of our opposition for this game, as you can see on the screen, they are coming off of a 1-1 draw at Southampton. Now their lineup for that game was Muric in goal, Leif Davis, who is a danger player for them on the left-hand side of defence, with Greaves and O'Shea in the middle, and then ex-Aston Villa player Axel Tuanzebe in at right back, Sam Morsy and Kajusli in midfield, with probably their most dangerous three here. Sammy Simosics, Hutchinson and Burns, and then Delap, yes, the son of the famous Rory up front. And, you know, in terms of that game, it was a decent game for them. They picked up a point. They actually did lose the battle of possession against Southampton, but had more shots and more shots on target. Passing was about the same as well. So it was a pretty standard game, but like I say, drawing to Southampton, a team that everyone expects to go down pretty comfortably. But we move on to Aston Villa, a game that I was at when we beat Wolves 3-1 at Villa Park. We lined up Martinez, Digne, Pau, Carlos, Konsa, Ramsey, Tielemans, Onana, McGinn, Rodgers and Watkins. Now the first half of that game was truly terrible, and we did make two half-time substitutions with McGinn and Digne making way, but overall we brought it back, and in the second half we absolutely dominated, leaving us with a possession overall of 53%, slightly less shots, the same amount on target, one more off target, as well as a little bit better in terms of passing accuracy, but that all came from the second half. But we have to think about who the danger players are. So I've done a little bit of a chart. You know what I mean? We're the production value, it has skyrocketed, and you can see it on the screen here if I pop it up for you guys. In terms of Ipswich, goals and assists, Morsy, Delap and Simosics on 1, and then assists wise, Leif Davis, who we have singled out to be a bit of an issue, on 1, and then Johnson as well, who I believe is a right back they have on loan, or they even bought from West Ham. In terms of Villa, obviously our main danger man this season has been John Jada Duran off of the bench, 4 goals in 5 games. Ollie Watkins has 3 and Onana has 2. In terms of assists, Tielemans, Digne and Rodgers all sitting pretty with 2 assists apiece. So now on screen you can see we're going to live select my lineup for the Ipswich game using the Villa Till I Die app. Now in goal, obviously it's going to be Emi Martinez, and I want to do this live because I want to talk you through my decision making. Obviously we have Bayern Munich coming up in midweek. It's an absolutely humongous game at Villa Park. If we can get even a point out of this Bayern Munich game, it will really stand us in good stead going forward in the Champions League with this new format to ensure that we at least get into the playoffs. But Martinez is obviously going to start. He is our number 1. He is going to be our goalkeeper for what I believe to be every Premier League game and every Champions League game. And I think Joe Gauchi is probably going to play FA Cup until the latter stages and Carabao Cup for the entire competition as far as we do go. Now at left back, it's a bit of a weird one because we have Luca Digne. Obviously got hooked at half-time against Wolves, and I think he just needed a break, and he got that break against Wickham. Ian Matson started that game. I don't think we're going to go back-to-back with him starting, so I believe Luca Digne will be the one to get the nod here. He's had a bit of a rest. Perhaps he gets 70-odd minutes in this game, and then Matson comes on, and then he starts against Bayern as well. Left-sided centre-back, obviously Pau Torres had a rest in midweek against Wickham. And now this is a bit of a difficult one because I don't think Kostan Nedeljkovic is going to start this game purely because of the fact that he played 90 minutes against Wickham. I thought he played very, very well. I think he is a very good player, but I don't think he's quite in Unai Emery's plans to start in the Premier League just yet. So do we go Konsa and Bagard, or do we go Carlos and Konsa? Now, Konsa playing at right back means that he has to stretch his legs a lot more than usual, and we need to be keeping him as fresh as possible for Bayern Munich because that game is crucial. Where does he not stretch his legs as much? When I find him at centre-back, and then I think Bagard comes back in. He played 90 minutes, yes, in midweek against Wickham, but he played it at centre-back, I think at right-back, against a team like Ipswich. He might just get that nod. Now, moving on to the left-hand side of midfield. Now, obviously, John McGinn is injured. That has been confirmed. He is out for this game. We will not have him in the team. So who do we start at left mid, maybe for a bit of solidity in the midfield? I don't actually think it changes. I think when I find him, Jacob Ramsey keeps his position on the left. Yuri Tielemans and then Onana keep their position as our Premier League starting centre mids. And then if we go over to forwards here, because he's listed that way, Leon Bailey gets the nod. Yes, I know he started against Wickham. I don't see who else we start at right mid in this game. The only way that I could see possibly we work it is moving Jacob Ramsey out there, dropping Rodgers and starting Duran. But again, Duran got 90 minutes against Wickham, and I think he is a solid bench player for the first 10 to 15 Premier League games this season. So obviously that leaves our standard strike force of, Rodgers usually actually plays this side, doesn't he? Well, I tell you what, we'll leave it. You know what I mean. Rodgers and Watkins, that's my starting lineup. Lock it in. Thank you very much. There you go. So, predictions, scores on a postcard, please. I am going to go for 3-0 to Aston Villa. We need to build up a solid head of momentum going into probably the biggest game in our recent history against Bayern Munich. It's a repeat of the 1982 European Cup final, and we have to be going into it full of confidence, buzzing, and possibly even in the top 1, 2, 3 of the Premier League. Obviously, we're 1 point off the top at the moment. Man City 1 point above us, but they have a bit more of a difficult game than us with Newcastle this week. Ipswich are a team that we should be expected to beat. Now, I do think that Ipswich are very, very good. Kieran McKenna's got them playing a good style of football. They have good players. I like Amari Hutchison, think he's very, very good. Sammy Samosis would have been a prime Barclays man back in the day, and Liam Delap's potential is sky high. Not as sky high as John Duran, may I just add, but they play good football, they're expansive, and they could cause us problems. So we're going to have to be on our A game, and Unai Emery said that in the press conference in terms of injuries. Yes, McGinn is still out, but Kamara, Mings and Jadon Philogene should all be coming back soon. Not in this game, unfortunately. But if we play our game, if we play like we did in the second half against Wolves, there's no reason we can't beat them 4, 5, 6, 7-0. That's how good we were in that second half. But I think, ultimately Unai Emery is fantastic at game management. You look at the distances run in the Premier League last season, Aston Villa are right down at the bottom, and I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to go away from home. We always try and slow the game down. The one thing I would like to see us do is actually keep possession a bit more. Away from home, we've been a bit sloppy with the ball and we've been giving up a lot of possession. This game, we need to be going in and getting 60 to 70% possession, I think, overall. But I am going to go for 3-0. My goal scorers for this game, Ollie Watkins to get another one, Leon Bailey to get his first of the season. And you'd never bet against a John Jada Duran goal from the bench. What do you guys think, though? Leave your comments down below. I'm very, very excited for this game. Sunday, 2 p.m, the game. Sunday, 7 p.m, my reaction. So stay tuned for that as well. I'll see you guys then. Up the Villa.